Anyway, welcome. It's January 31st. I can't really believe it. I'm excited about today, as you guys can probably tell. Let's go through and do bucket fill. I know we've got a few over here. Grateful. I saw enterprise outside.
Oh, yes.
On your table.
Yes. So we listed on Thursday. We had multiple offers. And then we're under contract on Sunday.
Awesome. Congratulations. Anybody else? Got a grateful? Go over she got.
2 under contracts on yesterday.
Yes.
How long were they on the market for?
One was 3 days. That was my listing, and the other is a new construction.
Got it. Okay. Congratulations. That's awesome. Anybody else? We have a new face in the room. Chrissy, would you like to stand up and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Christy Up the Grove, and it is spelled and sounds like Up the Grove. In case you're wondering, because everybody always is, it's my husband's last name, and it's Dutch from Up the Grove, and went to Florida, became the Groves, now it's Up the Grove.
Up the Grove. Okay.
So
and you are related to?
Who am I related to?
Are you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was in the Up the Grove mindset. I'm like,
Oh, no. Yeah. So this,
My sister is Melissa Reed-Hacker. She is our team leader. So I'm joining her team. Spent 15 years in corporate America as a public tax accountant. Finally escaped that. And now joining y'all. I'm very excited.
Awesome. We're so glad to have you. I almost tell myself I'm going back. Strategic partners, Joy, come on up. Good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
I'm going to play a little Did You Know today. Because I see all these questions and I have all these questions. Well, can you do this? Can you do that? So I'm going to ask you guys. And then you can say yes or no. Or I'll just say, do we do this? And you tell me. Do we do refinances?
Yes.
Yes. The question all the time, like, yes, I do refinance. Can we do USDA loans?
Yes.
Yes. And you guys, I was on a call this morning actually, in a discussion call. Don't forget about USDA buyers. I think this year, again, there's buyer opportunities, and people are looking out a little bit more. So don't forget about those rural areas. The income limits are really high this year. I mean, it's over 100,000 per household. So I think, lower price points out, maybe a little bit more affordability out there. So don't forget, we do USDA, and we can close the book. Turnaround time's 30 days on those easily. Because sometimes USDA gets super busy and people are worried about, oh my gosh, I'm going to close right now. It's just like any other one. It's fine. Faster we can do this. What about investment properties? Did you guys know that we can go down to 15% down? So go a little higher on the LTV there. So yeah, that's 20%. And we have an investment product that allows unlimited amount of properties financed. Because I know a lot of investors get kind of caught in that. You can only own 10 properties. We have one that you can have unlimited number. So just kind of throwing some of this out there. We also can do ARM and interest only. Yes, interest only. I know that was a thing. we do have that. If people are interested, we can do that. 2 to 4 units, like a duplex. We can do those. Getting a lot of questions about duplex now. All these savvy entrepreneurs, these young TikTokers are watching these videos where, this is a great investment. Rent, live on one side, rent the other.
House hack.
Yes. Is that what it's called?
Hashtag house hack.
Yeah. The TikTok videos are crazy. Anyway, so just so you know, that's just a little bit of my list. I'll save some more Did You Know later, but we have a lot of things out there, and just ask me anytime if you don't know. It's not just conventional inventory. We see all the time. We do a lot of other things. So, do you have questions for me? I'm not going to talk about rates today. They're stabilized right now, so they're pretty good. Low sixes. Awesome.
George,
say that.
In Henry's class, contracts class, this week, there was the talk about the seller closing cost contribution. Anything left over to go to buyer equalization. Is that something you're intending to allow?
It's really more of like the concessions that are allowed for each loan type. You see, like if if it's $10,000, there's a maximum on it. Does that make sense?
No matter what it's going toward.
No matter what it's going toward.
If it was $10,000 and your closing cost, that would $9,000.
You'd be fine. Yes. Yes. Somebody else asked that question. And I tried to get in that class, maybe Pearson was like, wouldn't let me log in, but anyway. Well, thank you guys.
Thank you.
I know Tiffany's here. Coming up, Tiffany. Go Kelly and
Well, today I'm blind myself. I was waiting until you guys had your contracts class with the broker boys before I talked about this, but one thing that we're getting a little bit of questions on is the change in the contract language on buyer representation and a cash sale. Really not much has changed, but the reason why they've added that language is to really limit the scope of the representation. So now it used to just say, if a cash transaction is happening, then the attorney represents the buyer. But it never went into what that representation was. And so we would sign something at closing that explained it, but you really don't want, if you're representing a cash buyer, for the attorney to represent them in the whole transaction, because that's, sending everything prior to signing a contract. We want to review everything, that would be like a full representation. So what this new language does is it says that our scope of representation is limited to preparing the closing docs, clearing the title, doing the title work, dispersing, collecting and dispersing all funds, recording all documents, and issuing the title policies. So it really just limits the scope. So hasn't really changed anything as far as what we're doing or what we're expected to do. It's just letting your buyers know, if you do have cash buyers, then where they can now look on the contract and see what the scope of the representation is. That makes sense? Yeah, hopefully you know about that. That was one class. Y'all have any questions today? That was really the only thing I was waiting for. There wasn't many big changes, but if y'all have any questions after that class, now that you've taken it, just let me know. And you'll have a treat. I'm so excited Shannon's here with y'all this week. So she's the same reader at the office I used to be at. So
And we hear that Tiffany's going to teach a class on Valentine's Day next month.
Gary, it was a class that you had requested.
yes,
Yeah,
GIS,
CCC,
and ACA.
Yep. And so anyway, so we're excited to have her here to teach that class.
GIS and then GSCCCA.
Okay, there's two things.
Yeah.
That's what.
Awesome. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
And if your vendors that are here, please stand up and say hello and good morning. I know there's several of you.
I'm James Lever with Ensign Building Solutions. We're mold, water, and fire restoration. We do rain mitigation and testing as well.
Good morning, good afternoon. Rob Shorting, Home Inspection, Home Loan Grade on New Construction Resale.
Ryan with Georgia Pro Inspection Company. Love to have you guys send your clients our way, but more importantly, want to be a resource for you guys. So feel free to call me anytime with questions about anything at all.
Contractor's Best Solution.
Thanks, guys. On your desk, you'll see that Nikki and Jenny Roberts, for those I'm sure everybody knows who both of them are. Jenny is the Bonds Team ISA and an amazing lead generator, and so they're going to do a mastermind on lead gen on Thursday. It is in person only. It will not be on Zoom. So just so you guys know, it is in person only. Family reunion coming up again, 18th to 21st. I think we've got about 15 or 16 now that are registered to go. So again, I know it's not across the country, but we'd love for anybody that is able to attend. I would love to make sure that you guys are where you're supposed to be and our little seat savers. We've all got our tennis shoes ready to go to do all the running to do to make sure you guys are taken care of. So I'm excited about that. Career day tonight is the 15th and 16th in person. 15th, 16th is Zoom only, and it will be with David in the evening. The Jambo's donation box that you all have seen up front for the month of February, we're taking in pajamas for the Jambo's organization that's here in downtown Beaufort. I can tell you that I know that they need bigger sizes, and we'll take anything. It just has to be pajamas, so for the kids. With no further ado, so let me welcome Shannon Dager. And so for those of you that don't know her, she has been a team leader at the Brownsville office. She's a coach, a consultant, one of my dearest friends. And I'm thrilled that she came here from Ohio to share her wisdom with you all today. So please give her a warm welcome.
Good Good morning, good morning. So I was speaking at a chamber event last week, and so just to share one thing on your last slide that surprised me, we were at a place called Welcome Home, which is donations for children as well, for clothing. And I've never really thought about this. So when you're getting, you said bigger sizes, when you're getting pajamas in, they made a point of kids that are 18 are the same size as the kids like me that are 49. So give in any size possible, because those are the ones that we all forget to give to. So that was really interesting. So I'm super excited to be here. As Dana said, like, I see so many familiar faces. Let me tell you how the world comes around. Chelsea did my first headshots when I got my license. Like, I'm gonna walk in here and see her. So like, and then you get to come back here, and I see so many familiar faces and partners of my previous office, and I'm really excited to be here. So I'll tell you a little bit about me and why I'm here and what I do. So I'm a Keller Williams University instructor. I'm also a member of the Atlanta Partners real estate team. So I do have my license here as well. I have my license in Ohio, and I'm a part of the regional team for the Ohio Valley region. I've held many hats in Keller Williams, and I love learning because Keller Williams is just incredible in the classes that we get to learn. But prior to me coming in as a team leader, I had a background in human resources. And that's kind of what made me a team leader, that I love to build a team. I love to help other people grow their businesses as well. Coming full circle, Jason Bonds has given me so many amazing opportunities, including me in on different things that he included me in Cyberbackers. And so now I'm also the operating partner for Cyberbackers for Kentucky and Ohio. And I have a podcast that I'm going to ask you guys to all think about downloading, because we really need help with it. My partner is Linda McKissick, who you may have heard of in Keller Williams, and we talk about leverage and building teams. So Sarah asked me to come and talk today, and she said, I want something that they're going to lead with that's value. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear about profit share from me if they want to leave here with value. Like, I can teach that, and I will teach you that all day long, because I'm a firm believer, but you've heard it, right? And so what do agents want to lead with? And that's lead gen. They want to know how to make it work. And so today we're going to talk about how to lead gen in 12 months to grow your sphere. So I'm going to pull up the slides, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to give you an activity. And some of you may have done this before, so bear with me if you have. I'm going to try to shed new light too. Pull out your phones. And how do I get to your slide, to my slides?
Oh, the clicker's right there.
But how do I get to the slides for the screen?
Just open the next one. It's loaded in there. She put it in the deck.
Oh, I see what you're saying. It's just loaded into the deck. You guys are so efficient. That's amazing. Wow.
We tried.
Like, literally, I just gave her those slides like a few minutes ago, and she's already got them in the deck. How do I move this? Because I feel like I'm back in a corner, and I'm a walker. I'm going to have to move this up. I'm going to address this. So when you pull out your phones, I want you to go to your contacts. Oh, don't judge me here. I want you to pull your contacts out. You slide all the way to the bottom if you have an iPhone. If you don't have an iPhone, I need some help here because I never can remember how to do this. I want you to know how many contacts you have in your phone. And I want you to write it down. So this is an activity class. We're going to do some activities. You will not leave with a full plan, but you will leave with some ideas of where to begin planning. Okay? On this QR code, I say leverage. So why I told you this is I'm going to talk about it a little bit through here. Okay? I do everything to make it easier. If you stand here, I will take your emails. I will not call you and tell you anything. I promise. I will take your emails and I'll send you the slide deck and every resource we're going to talk about today. Truthfully, I won't do it. My cyberbacker will do it. So it may come from a weird email address, but you will get it. So when I started thinking about writing this class, and you guys are the first person I've given this class to, so if it's terrible, just ignore that. It'll get better. It was after Mega Camp. How many of you went to Mega Camp? Okay, so great. You're not going to have clues to what I'm talking about. Mega Camp last year was all of the mega agents talking. They literally got on stage and talked about how they had increased their business to astronomical results in 1 year. And I kept sitting there listening, I kept making notes of like what they were doing. And the one consistent theme that I heard last year was they were all having events. Everybody was having an event. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, it's a different approach. Because we all know to focus on 2 to 3 hours of our legion. So we are all, how many of you were scared to make phone calls when you started in business? How many of you were scared to ask your friends for business, right? Like nobody wants to be that person, right? And so I'm listening to it and I'm like, I love to have parties. How many of you think you're great when you're in front of your friends and that you connect well with people, right? And when we're having fun and when we've got a glass of wine or a martini in our hand, or if you're like me in Kentucky, you have a bourbon, like we have a lot of things to talk about. Oh, we don't want to be on the phone and make that call. So I was like, this is really cool. Like I could really understand how to build a business and actually make it fun and utilize the gifts that I have. And why isn't everybody thinking about this? Because those people on that stage, that's what they're doing. They're not scared to ask for business, but they're also doing it in a way that brings value to their friends, because who doesn't want to go to a party, right? And is kind of a softer sell. And so we're going to talk about kind of some of the things that they talked about were the keys to their events and the keys to their planning, so it doesn't become overwhelming, because that's what we don't want. So everybody's got their notes on how many you've got. So when I ever write a class, because I was taught the Keller Williams model, we have to start off with this. What are we going to talk about today? And I always go back to what I learned in high school. It's the 5 W's and an H. Does anybody know what that means?
Who, what, when, where, how.
Why, and how.
Why.
That's right. So what we're going to talk about today is who, what, when, where, why, and how. And so one of the agents that's in the Atlanta region that talked at Mega Camp, if any of you know her, is Gina Sharman. Does anybody here know her? You do? Gina did 97 units exclusively through events. $620,000 in GCI. Is there anybody who would like to do $620,000 in GCI? I would be okay just by having parties. Just by having parties in a couple of years. Like, I could do it all day long. So today we're going to talk about who we invite, what we're doing, what events to host. I'm going to give you some ideas, okay? I've got 12 months of calendars with all kinds of things. So it is not going to just be like, hey, let's have a Santa party. No, we're going to have some different takes on that, and you will get a list of those as well. When to do it, where to share it, why you're doing it, and how you're doing it. So let's talk about why we want to do an event-based calendar. Real estate is a contact sport, right? You're all told to fill your CRMs with things. You're all told to put them all on a drip campaign. The problem we have is we don't know how to get them. How do we get all those people in there? So when you pulled out your funds, you wrote down a number. How do you divide that number by 6%? What is 6% of that number? So take it times 6%. I told you that math. 6%. That is the number of people in your database that will be moving in the next 12 months. How many of you are closing less than that number? Right, a little bit less. So how many of you think that number is a lot? It should be a lot. Most people do. So we're going to talk about how we get to those 6%, because it really sucks when somebody that we consider a close friend posts on Facebook or social media that they're using somebody else, right? So that 6%, that's your opportunity. So that's what we want to look at. Events are IRL experiences, in real life experiences, and that's what we want. We don't want, I'm not saying you don't use drip campaigns. Please use them that you know with nurture. You will not grow your sphere with the month that you know with nurture. You will not grow your sphere with that. You will grow your sphere within real life events. You need to be in front of people having conversations, doing what you're best at. There's nobody I know who's in real estate that says, I don't really want to talk to anybody. And if you are that person, please come see Dager, or me. I will KPA you and give you opportunities and leadership behind the scenes. Because as a real estate agent, your job is to talk to people, and that's what we should always put first and foremost. So, in real life events, we want to create repeat and referral events. Repeat and referral. We want to create events that people look forward to every year. So one of the keys in creating events is not to create all new events every year. Repeat events. Because that saves you time. How much easier is it to plan a party next year if you've already done it the previous year? You're just gonna call the same vendors, you're gonna use the same list with your new people that you've added to it, and you're gonna repeat the process. And because you have done that and people have had a great time, which we're gonna talk about how to make sure they do that, they're going to refer other people to come to that party and to talk about it. And you're going to become the talk of it. That saves you time and that saves you money, because the more you grow your sphere of influence, the less money you have to spend on buying leads and generating leads through cold sources. Right? Repeat operations. How many of you would love to have a business? Nikki's not in here, Jason's not in here. How many of you would love to own the Bonds real estate team? I mean, look at these huge teams that you have. How many of you would love to have a team that one day you can sell? Or you can hire somebody to run and have a side level business? I mean, I really would like to be able to retire and have somebody running it for me, or be able to hand it off. Repeat operations and utilizing leverage and growing your business through leverage is the way to do that. Who wants to buy a business when nobody has a CRM? What value is that? Right? Like when I go to help somebody sell their real estate business, I'd like for you to buy my real estate business. I've done a lot of business this year. You should get some more out of it. No, I don't have any of my CRM. Do you want to buy it? No. When I say, hey, I want to sell you my real estate business, I have 25,000 contacts in it. We'll run the math, 6% of them will move in the next 12 months. Here's my historical data. Somebody's going to buy it. So repeat operations equals leverage and business value. We're going to document along the way, which we're going to talk about. And it's fun. It's fun, and you can plan it. And instead of coming into the office every day and going, I don't know who to call, we're going to talk about exactly what you do. And how many of you feel like it would be easier to make a phone call if you're calling and saying, I'm having a party next week, I would love for you to come? Is that an easier call to make than, hey, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell real estate? I mean, I'm having a party, could you come? I'd love to see you. That's what we're looking to do, to have those conversations. In the shift, your goals haven't changed. Has anybody in here decided you want to make less money this year? Okay, I didn't think so. Do you all know what your annual income goal is? Do you know what % of your business should be profitable? If you spend $1, do you know how much money you should be making from that $1? Of your GCI, I'm sorry, I mentioned that. Your gross commission income, do you know what your profit should be on your gross commission income? 40%. I see some people know, some people don't, and that's normal to be able to different levels in here. 40% of your GCI should be your profit. So when you say, I'm going to give you this, when you say, I want to make this amount of money, let's assume you pay yourself all your profit, not an accountant, not going to be an advisor, financial advisor. Maybe you shouldn't spend all your profit in your salary. I don't know.
Don't do it.
Right. And this is also before taxes and income, so like I have to think about that and making taxes. So we're going to run some rough numbers. If you want to get more specific, we can talk about those in agent financials, which is a different class. You should be running a 40% profit margin. Okay? So if you know what you want to make, divide that by 40%. That's what you need to hit in gross commission income this year. That's what your gross needs to be. Now, if you know what your average commission is, divide that number, and I'll go back through this at the end of this discussion, by that gross commission, and you know how many deals you need to close. And it's very often many more deals than you plan to close. So nothing has changed in terms of what you want, but you have to work a lot harder to get it this year. Because we're now, and Chris, you and I were just talking about this. He said, he's been in business for 4 years, right? You got your real estate license, and Chris came in and saw me when he got his real estate license. And he went with a different office. Sorry, I had to bring it up. Came back to me now.
That's right.
And, came back to me. You know, how many of you were around when we had to go to a listing appointment and they were interviewing 3 other agents? Right? That's where we're back to now. So you have to work a lot harder than you did the last 4 years. You actually have to do a presentation. Yeah, and you know what? We do those numbers and we say we're going to get 50-50 on listings and buyers, or we're going to, we have to know our conversion ratios, how many listing appointments do we have to go to sign listings, to close contracts, but track those ratios. And they're not going to be 100% anymore, y'all. They're not. Every friend is not going to use you because there's going to be other agents that are going to be doing things. So you have to work twice as hard, maybe 4 times as hard, to get where you need to go. So being efficient is super, super important in order to make it work. So I love this quote: you don't close a sale, you open a relationship if you want to build a long-term successful enterprise. I want to build an empire. Are there other empire builders here? Yeah. Nobody comes in here with these tiny visions. We all want to build something big. So you have to build the relationship. All right, so before we start talking about events, let's talk about what we're going to do before we get to events. Okay, before we start, you have to have a goal for events. So who knows what the goal should be for every single event? Turnout. So we can also say that it's leads, right? Leads. So we want to know how many leads we need. You know, 6% of everybody on your phone is going to move in the next 12 months. You know how many deals you need to do to make your goals this year. You need to know how that divides out how many events you're going to host. I'm going to give you a plan for hosting 4 events per year. You may choose to do 2. You may choose to do 6. I don't care how many you do. I care that you do them well and you do them deep, and that you start committing to building on them. So we're going to talk about 4. So your event goal is how many leads am I going to capture at this event? That should be a stated number. It shouldn't be like, I'm going to have a great party, you want to see funds. You work to get the leads to come to your event. How many do you need? That's how many you need to figure out every single time. You need to know your budget. Do you know what your lead generation budget should be? What does the MREA say our lead generation budget should be? 12%. 10%. Who's saying that? I'm sorry. You're behind that. I can't see your number. I'm sorry. I'm like, I hear it coming. It's a mystery. The clock is talking to me. 10%. Your lead generation budget is 10% according to the MREA. How many times do we just say, that looks cool, I'll do that? What have you sold? That sounds good. I'll sign up. Everybody's talking about it. No, I mean, I'm not telling you not to sign up, that's good too. Right? But you should know that it's 10% of whatever you're going to spend that year and have a plan. So you need a number budget. What I want you to note is efficiencies with costs go up as the number of guests go up. Right? So if we spend $100 on one person, or we invite 2 people, it now becomes $50 per person. That works in events too. So capitalizing on that and having the most people in an event, in a room, is super, super important to keeping your budget down. And going big. Go big on your events as much as possible. We'll talk about who to invite and where to set the limit. Partners and sponsors. One of the things that they talked about at MegaCamp, every one of these mega agents had partnerships. What does that do for your budget? And that helps a lot. And it helps your partner. And we also want referrals from our partners, so we also that's a win-win right there too. So consider making packages available for your partner before you start the event. This is the value I'm going to provide. If you can pay for the photo booth, this is what I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a list of those attending. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to introduce yourself. What is it that you can provide? And are there different levels that you can get for exclusive? Does anybody have questions on that? I don't want to go too fast. And then planning for the year now. So when you leave here and you're like, okay, I have some events. 2 of you, maybe 1 of you, I don't know. Let's go if there's a few. I don't want you to get bogged down. I want you to do something. I don't want you to hear Shannon said I have to have a whole lot of people that's going to take me 3 months to plan, and so I'm just going to do that. Yeah. I don't care if you have 10 next week, just go. Get started, do something. Next year you'll have 20. You'll have 40 for the month. So get going, and that's what's really, really important. And that is for everything in lead generation this year is to get moving. Get moving and do it. Okay. Ground rules for success. Relevant and repeatable events. What does that mean? What's that? Current, right?
On trend.
On trend.
Things you can have every year.
What's that? Things you can have every year. How relevant would it be if I was celebrating Chinese New Year and inviting all my friends? Or Diwali? I mean, it's not. Like, it's not my culture, right? And so people don't see that as relevant to me. So my children are also broke. So what if I have a T-ball party? Like, they're gonna be like, paper. I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing in your world right now? Relevant to you. And repeatable. Something that's going to be able to repeat for many years to come. So if your children are 16 or 17 and exiting the fall stage, I mean, you can do it for a couple of years, and I'm not suggesting that it won't pay off, but you have to kind of consider how you're going to allow that event to grow. So that's what they were saying on Mega Camp stage, is things in your community that are repeatable. Easter egg hunts. You know, things like that that you can continue to grow your community are great events. And people will look for them every year if you have them and you really push them. So follow a process, repeatedly document the steps, consider leverage. If you have leverage or part-time leverage, this is the time to use them. So a lot of times, I'm not selling you anything here. I've owned Cyberbacker in Kentucky, and I have nothing here, like, I have nothing to sell you. But I'm going to tell you, when I see clients come in and they're overworked and they can't move forward, it's because they don't know what to hand off. They're off. What you hand off is all the prep work here. That's what you hand off. Hand it off to somebody else to document, to price out, to write up, to invite. All of it is leverage. Hand it off to somebody if you can afford to do it. If you have a business moving, sometimes you can't afford not to do it. So that's a conversation to have. If you have an office leverage, use it. If you have a great app or any other tool, great. I have some I'm going to tell you about. If you need more, let me know. I coach a lot of agents. I can ask them what they're using. So I'm happy to do that. Okay. It's a multi-step invitation process. And these are in the slides, so maybe that's really small. You don't have to write it all down. But it's a multi-step invitation process. Okay? We're not just sending an e-bike asking people to show up. We're not just putting a Facebook event out there and inviting everybody we know and then being disappointed because we didn't get the response we need, right? Like, that's not going to work. If you have 8 steps here and you have 4 events per year, how many touches are we supposed to have a year?
36.
36. You conquered 32. 32 touches right there. And you put them on a drip campaign, and you call them their birthday and their home anniversary. You put them on that campaign too. Like, think about this. The other thing that I noticed with everybody at Mega Camp, they weren't using 36 touch campaigns. They weren't.
300 touch program.
They're like 90 step touch programs. Like, really and truly. The way to tackle the market in this shift is to go deep with your relationships and to go hyper local. How much more hyper local is it when you're the person that everybody's coming to in your community? So you can build the steps in and you can make the calls. Look, and I put this up here because I want you to see that how much you can use, because sometimes it's overwhelming when we show these plans. It's overwhelming to say, I can't do that. Like, that's a lot of stuff that you're putting up there. No, if I have leverage there, it can be a person, it can be an app, it can be a tool, it can be a drip campaign. You can share services. It doesn't have to be expensive. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And if you're stuck and you don't know, just let me know. I'll help you. I'll help you figure out a way that you can put it in your budget. Because we have to lead with revenue, so that's important. So we go to text. Hi, I'm going to let you know we're having a party. Please know that my text doesn't have to be word for word. This is not scientifically proven that that's going to get you the most results. Plan it out, test it, have an A/B formula. That's just what I got. from the stage, okay? You text, you invite with an RSVP system. Okay, we're gonna talk about what that looks like in a minute. And an item of value. We're gonna talk about what that means in a minute too. So how much more likely are they gonna be to RSVP if they're RSVP know they're gonna get something back? Hey, if you RSVP for my Christmas party, I'm gonna have a photo booth and I'll send you the photo of your kids. The only way I can send you the photo of your kids is if you RSVP and get your email. Amazing. You can provide them with an item of value. And your vendors can help you with that too. Because a lot of times I say, send you a video, that's going to be text. Look, all of that can be done with somebody else. Somebody else can text for you, somebody else can email for you, somebody else can send your video. What number 4 is call and personally invite. Nobody else can do that for you. There's your 3 hours of lead generation every day. You're going to call them and you're going to say, hey, I'm having a party. I'd like for you to come. I haven't seen you in 6 months. I'm having a party. Isn't that easier than saying, hey, I haven't seen you in 6 months. You know anybody who wants to buy your house? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how about, hey, I haven't seen you in 6 months. I just realized that I'm having a party with my friends list, and I'd love for you to come. I miss you. I'd love to see your kids. And a text a reminder. How much more likely are you to get a reminder? Did anybody get a reminder on any meetings this week that they're more likely to go to? Like, I am so scatterbrained. I put 2 reminders on every appointment. Literally, you laugh. But I have to put a 15-minute reminder and a 5-minute reminder because you know what happens between 15 minutes and the appointment? Or I forget. Like, I forget. It's so bad. But if you remind me, I go. So that's something that you need to build in. You have to capture the information of the party in a more deep way. So that is the value add. Then you get to call them and thank them for coming. And if they didn't come, you get to call them and say, I'm sorry I missed you, is everything okay? And that's pretty easy. And then you get to update your database, add them to drip campaigns, have a birthday, call, anniversary, monthly neighborhood nurture. Any questions on that? You can build this out as far as you want. Like, you can add 1 million steps in there, but that's a pretty deep process. And going much beyond that, you may just have to think about ways to do it creatively and softly. Otherwise, you just become the annoying pest that's at the street. Right. Yes, thank you.
How much time are you doing on the last slide in between each touch?
So I can send it to you. I can have that added in there just to look at my system specifically. But I start 30 days out. Okay. So I start my invitations 30 days out. So I will say there are some things. I'm having an event. I actually am having a Diwali event. So my husband's in IT. So I brought in a partner from his team that's helping me plan it. And that's relevant too. And so there's ways you can bring those partnerships in as well so that you can capture additional people. Like that. And I will say this, like, these events should never be about selling. I truly am thrilled to have a Diwali party. Like, we're at a panel artist come and like it's gonna be cool. And plus I never get invited to any of them. And I think like I really want to honor other cultures and have it, and my friends do too. So like I'm really excited about it. It's about what excites me. Yeah.
How do you collect information number 6?
We're gonna talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Capturing your information. So a lot of it is going to be about the value add in the RSVP system. And you have to do it. Because, I mean, how many of you want to entertain people and spend $2,000 on a party and not know who showed up? I can't even remember an appointment for 15 minutes. So I'm probably not going to remember everybody that's there. Like,
Plus, if you're drinking.
I need a lot more people. I mean,
I'm a lot friendlier.
I don't remember it so long. I make much better relationships. But I definitely don't remember everything. Yeah. So for sure, you definitely like, and we're going to talk about in just a minute. We're going to talk about the capture. Where are you invited? So this is the mistake we make. We send an invite, we make a Facebook event, we might send a text message to the people that are on there, but we don't go and bother everybody else. Yep, all of these need to be used at once. all of them need to be used at once. So who are we inviting? I'm gonna talk to you in the next slide, but I'm gonna jump ahead and just tell you we're inviting everybody. And the thing I want you to remember is the value is not in the event. And that's really hard. If we have an event and only 20% of our people come, we feel like we haven't succeeded. The value is not in the event. The value is in the invitation. You cared enough to include them, to text them, to call them. You touched them that many times. You called the day after to say, sorry I missed you. That's the relationship developer. Because the reality is you got a party of 300 people, you probably don't get to talk to all of them really deeply anyway. Like intentionally you should, but the reality is you don't. But the value is that you want them there and you want them in your world. And that's where the value comes from. So we're going to invite everybody that we can. Unless they're not relevant, and there are people that are not relevant, right? Like there are people that don't celebrate the same holidays as us, and they don't want to be included in the same holidays. And they think it's disrespectful. Unless you have those small number of people that aren't relevant to your world, then that's fine. Otherwise, invite everybody, all your neighbors. Text messages, emails, phone calls, Eventbrite, a Facebook invite, social media posts, targeted social ads, promo video and live stream, and venue and sponsor promotions. If you're having a venue, have them post it too. And hashtag them in every single thing. So every time you post this, you're going to hashtag your venue and your partners. Because when you hashtag them, it shows up on their stuff. And what does that do for your audience?
Increases it.
It does. It increases it. And it makes it more relevant. And the social media calibration goes up. So your people see it more. So on your Facebook page, if you put a Facebook post on there, less than 10% of your friends see it. So how many of you are worried about putting too much stuff about your real estate business on social media? Only 10% of your friends are seeing it. But you only post it one time. Like what good is having 2,000 friends and advertising your business if only 10% are going to see it? If you're going to be that intentional, be that intentional. Yes.
Can you go a little bit deeper into the targeted social ad?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thank you for that. So I'm on the slide. So I have my friends in Facebook in lists. So when you have friends in Facebook, so there's a couple reasons for this, and I'll give you an example. I'm from Georgia, right? And so I live in Ohio. When I post something relevant to Ohio real estate, you guys don't care. I don't care if I just listed a house up there, and they don't care if I just list a house here. So if I'm going to post it and I'm going to do an ad, I'm going to target that group, that list. And it's going to retarget that post to that group. So sometimes we have friends of all different venues. Whatever, when you run a social media ad, you get to choose your audience. You're going to choose those friend audiences, okay? And that's who you want it to come to. Now, some people don't use they don't put it anybody. It just kind of depends on how you work your business and what I coach, so my coaching clients don't necessarily, but yeah, I just separate it out. So it's totally how you run your business, but when you run a social media ad, you can target the audience. So when they go and search for certain things as well, it's in their background of their information and their cookies, and when they go to Facebook, it reads what they've looked for. So let's just say, that they're looking for a specific type of event. They go to events to look for it in the community, and yours comes up as well. More likely to not. Anybody else have questions on any of that? Yes.
Can you do those specific lists in command?
You can. I haven't done it in recently to make sure that updates, but you could the last time I ran it. So I've got several records doing it now, so I'll have to relook at it, but I'll get it today and see, but you should be able to choose your list. So, yes.
What are your cyber doing for you?
Everything administrative. Everything administrative. Anything that I don't physically go to do or need a license for, my cyber records handle. Everything from calendaring my events to getting prices to writing up the event plan, to sending invites, to text messaging on my behalf and making it look like me.
Anything electronic, they're handling.
Yeah, anything. Anything that, like,
calls.
my job is to teach, to be in front of people. How many of you think this is an event for me?
Technically speaking, you have a captive audience.
I mean, don't think I don't use this myself. I teach twice a week. I'm a coach. That's what I do. So, I mean, you can look at it that way. In this particular case, I really did, because this is my best friend. So, I 100% support her. Also, my mentor is Jason Bonds. Like, I'll do anything to make Atlanta Partners succeed. I absolutely believe 100%. If you guys don't know that you're a unicorn, I thought Atlanta Partners was a unicorn. Anybody who's listening that maybe is hearing this outside my current region, Atlanta Partners is a unicorn. I'm telling you, it is a wonderful organization. So I'll do anything here to make you as agents succeed. But absolutely, I coach every time I teach is an event. This is what I do. Now. Okay, so we talked about registration. So I typically run multiple registration streams. Eventbrite is huge, depending on what event you're doing. It captures all of the information. So you want people to register. Registration is absolutely vitally important or you're wasting your time. Okay? One, it helps you if you can get them to register ahead of time. If you can't get them to register ahead of time, you have to have them register at the event. You can have a goodie bag for them to take. You can have a photo for them to take. We're going to talk about some different things. But you have to provide an item of value or an offering in order to ask for their information. Your current sphere will RSVP. They don't need it. Remember, we're going beyond that. So you have to go into the registration piece, and you have to use it. So a couple of things that I would say: Eventbrite, Evite. You can use multiple channels. Okay. Capterra is one. Invited is another. Again, these are all on the slides. And Facebook events. Those are the ones that I use the most. There's a million others. Use what works for you. Your iPhone has a few. You can just Google apps. And the nice part there is it's going to pull your contacts right in. So most of these just import your contacts as well. So super easy. Registration is required. Email and phone number. Now, does that mean if they didn't RSVP the day before you don't want them to come? No, you're going to call them. And you're going to say, like, hey, I'd still like for you to come. You know, obviously you have their phone number because you're calling them. If you don't, you're going to email them, right? And you're still going to try every method you can. Because you're going to, again, when you go to the event, we're going to be taking pictures of your kids. I'm going to be so busy. I would love to grab the email address so I can send you any pictures we take. I'm going to send you this. I'm going to connect you with that. What is your value offering depending on the event you have? There has to be one. Remember, we put that in the beginning. So you have to figure that out before you go on an event. This is the thing that got me the most, and I was like, what? Gamification. Does anybody know what it is? It's crazy. What's the hook?
Yeah.
Fun factor. Like, it has to be fun. What is your gamification? So this is your value add. This is, if you have vendors, have a QR code. You can do a scavenger hunt. You can do memories. You're going to send them with photos. You can do, I need you to register because we're doing a team sports fun day, and we want to put you on a team. You can come up with a million different things. I have a whole list. It's going to go with you with the slides. But here we go. I'm going to give you a handful. You've got scavenger hunts, trivia, leadership boards. So if you're doing any type of, if you play golf, you'll see the leadership boards. You can do this in a local event too. You can do trivia, you can do scavenger hunt, you can do a murder mystery. You can put it up there. QR codes, fair booths, photo contests, team events, badges, and trophies. How many of you guys, y'all don't have to raise your hand. Let me tell you my story as a team leader. I figured out. And I'm an agent. So when I say this about you, I'm saying this about me. Y'all, I will fight to the death for a piece of paper that says I did good. Y'all have awards tomorrow, right? Like, as a team leader, you don't mess up those awards. You don't mess up that certificate. Don't mess that up. You've been here a month, you better have it right.
Don't go all Steve Harvey.
You don't mess up people's awards. People like recognition. They like attention. I won the Gary Award for Proud Share last week. And it's like this plastic time he's got his mustache on it. I'm proud. It'll be the background of all my Zooms. Like, it's pretty impressive. And I might have made a TikTok with that mustache on at one point. And so, make it fun for people, gamify it. How do I get people to engage? That's what we want to know. And so, anything, bring up photo booths are really cool right now. The 360 photo booths are really cool right now. Music. If you have a local musician, a community musician, who usually will appear for a very minimal fee or nothing at all, if you have the right attendance, and not picks. Like guitar picks, like they cost like 10 cents or 1,000 or something. I don't know. Have them initial them with a Sharpie. Like he'll feel like the biggest celebrity or she in the entire world. And hand them out people, and people like will want them. It's crazy amazing. Take pictures with them. I mean, we did this a Cyberhackers conference last week. How many of y'all watched the movie Rudy? Right? Rudy came and did this great speech I've ever heard in like 20 minutes. He basically all he did was tell us he's 88, he's tired. But he's still fighting, right? I think it was pretty amazing. These are all very successful business people, right? These are all business leaders that have come up through the Keller Williams world. You have never seen a line so long to get a picture with Ruby, who's 88 years old and giving a 20-minute speech about how tired he is. I got 3 because I wanted them signed for my kids. I'm like, because he was really that good. So gamify it. It makes the relationship deeper. Okay, I said 4 events per year. Here's how I thought my time. Okay, and I did it showing 3. So here's what I've got. Because we're already into the year. So it's kind of hard to do a 12-month calendar. So starting today, you're in month 1. You initiate, you plan, and you book. So what are you going to do? Start that pre-process. You're going to have this at the beginning. You're going to have this afterwards. And I'm going to also put in checklists for planning. Okay? So you're going to initiate, you're going to plan what you're going to do, and you're going to book it. That's going to take a whole month. Because it takes time. Do you wait to start talking about it? No. Like, the invitation process starts now. Hey, I'm working on some events this year. I'm going to be sending you an invitation. Bless you. Month 2, organize, design, and actually begin the invitation. And I put that, I told you I started 30 days out. I started like 30-ish. Like, I usually start a little more than 30 days. It depends on the event, right? And so, but usually right at like that 35-day mark is when I start sending things out, say the date, stuff like that. Month 3 is invite, implement, and host. Month 4 changes. So that's your first event for the year. Okay? Month 4 is follow-up. Now you've got to follow up on that event that happened. So it's follow-up calls. Plan and book your next month. Organize, design, and invite, implement, post. Have a checklist for all of this, so you can have that. It's going to be detailed. And then you're just going to repeat the same thing moving forward. It's the same thing. You're going to repeat month 4, 5, and 6, because from then on, you've had your events. So you're always going to be following up. You're always going to be planning. You're always going to be booking. Every single day, you can call and talk about an event. Every single day, you call your sphere of influence for the next 3 months and talk about the event 3 months. It's not too early. Easter's in April this year-ish. Is it too early for you to call my sphere and say, hey, I'm planning out my year and I want you to say the time? I'm going to have an Easter party this year. Say the date. That's a call. That's a touch. 3 months is not too early to begin those phone calls. So you're still going to be making your touches. Does anybody have questions on that? I have no idea what there's a whale. flying with Facebook said that was a party. What's that?
I said my physics brain and just physical science is just twitching right now. Why would there be an airplane?
I mean, that's a serious event. Facebook said that was a party picture, so I think my team just put that picture
I
in there.
think that
I don't care.
somebody's having a party.
Yeah. We will have a conversation about that. Like, why did we choose that later? But I don't know, but it got you looking and it got you thinking, and I saw your face. It was like,
It's an LSD party, but it's
I mean, maybe. All right, so this is very small, right? What I want you to see is what we're going to be sending you. That's all I want you to see here. I will go through a few of these. So as we move forward, we're already a couple months out. Like you can have an event this month. You can throw something together, but I really want you to think about quality events. So I really want you to think about doing something quality where you can invite large numbers. I also don't want you to wait 3 months to get started. So really trying to give you some ideas here on things you can do. So March, we have St. Patty's Day, Lucky Leprechaun events, Kentucky Derby parties, Spring Fever. April, you've got Easter events, garden parties, tea parties, spring break bash, tax break parties. How many of you should have a tax break party? Like, if you have a tax break party and you're talking about some of this fun stuff, not the LSD, but the wine or whatever you
it's a write-off.
Like, people are gonna come. Like, people are gonna come. I'm telling you. May, muffins with mom, Mother's Day, May Day. I'm giving you these as ideas. Okay? There's a million ideas out there. Google 12-month party ideas. They're going to come up with something that nobody else is doing. But it needs to be relevant and repeatable. So you have to find true interest. I love Taco Tuesday. I do a fiesta in August at my house every year. I love tacos. I'm always going to be down for having Mexican. So that's it. I want to have margaritas in my house, or margarita machines. I have Chipotle granite. We put a movie thing out. We watch movies. Like, that's my thing. So what do you love to do? Because when you love to do it, you don't have to think about it. And you're excited about it. And when you're excited about it, I love to teach. Can you feel it? Like, I truly love to be here with you. It's not hard for me to want to come in here. And so I plan a schedule of wanting events because I feed off of it, y'all feed me, like with excitement. And so what feeds you? What gets you excited? If you look at any of it in any of these months and you're like, that's a lot of work. Okay, no, that's not the right event for you. This shouldn't be a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but your heart should be like, I'm excited. Like to do that with this group of people, so I want to do it for them. And I want to submit it for them. Are we doing on time? Oh, 1 minute, y'all. Final key points. Don't be a secret agent. Don't be a secret agent. This is not about selling your friends and family. It's not about asking for the sale. And yet, I need to know your agent. So on the back of my invitations, on the very back, I put really boldly, because everybody loves a good tax write-off, I must tell you, this event is being sponsored by the Shannon Dager team. Everybody can relate to that, right? There's nobody in here who can't relate to that. Okay, this event is being sponsored, and they'll probably put a small line and they'll say, if I can help you or anybody you know, and they'll say, please let me know. Hope to see you soon for tacos. Whatever. Don't be a secret agent. Find a way to put it out there. And if you put that on the invitation, you can put that all over the event. Because they don't feel sold because you gave the disclaimer, right? They feel that you are doing what you have to do to get a break from your taxes. But your brand is present in the front. And that's what's important. So, we're going to talk about the rest of this. Share, reshare, and ask for shares. All over your event, on your invite. Share, reshare, and ask for shares. So if you're having a community event, ask people to share it. Ask people to like it. Ask people to follow it. When you get photos from the event, share them. Ask people to reshare them. Make this a multiplier for you. Okay? I set up a Christmas party as an agent here. Gosh, I don't know, 10 years ago? And I hired Santa. And I decorated my neighborhood clubhouse. And every single year, from Thanksgiving on, people that attended that event are reposting pictures with their kids from that Santa. Because he was so good. Every year, it'll happen every single year. And so make sure that there's something there that you can reuse so that this becomes more efficient and your leverage can use it next year. Right? The first time, it's a lot. But next year, when Christmas comes or Easter comes or summer comes, they just have the photos from last year. And how much cooler of an invite is that if I say, here's what you're going to get this year. Look at how cool this picture is. Here's my Santa. I got a real Santa. This is what he's going to do with the kids. Everybody comes. Everybody does. So think about how to share. You share and ask for shares. Resources, again, I think I have the QR code coming in a minute. Again, you're getting slides, checklists, planning documents, and you can always ask me questions. That's why I put it in there. If you guys need me for anything, please let me know. I'm here to help you in any way that I can. It is extremely important to me that you guys are successful and that you have the opportunity to have everything you need, whether it be about this presentation or about anything else. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I have a template for it. You can already it. So take it, rip off and duplicate it as much as you want, okay? Put your logos on it. I'll give you anything that I have. I'm not selfish about that at all. So just let me know how I can help you and I'll be happy to send it over. Great things are not done by impulse. So if I have a series of small things brought together, don't be simply at the party. Please be at the party. And then one follow-up thing, a couple things I mentioned to you. One of the things that I am required to do is get a certain number of class reviews from Keller Williams. So if you scan that code, you'll get the ability to put in, it's a post to my website, you can put your information in, and that's what I'll get you the resources. Just below that form, there's a link to like a 5-question thing where you can survey the class and get the results to Keller Williams University, which gives me the ability to teach you career visioning and bring other classes to you guys free of charge. And other things. So if you have a second, you'll see that link. It'll take you to KWU survey. Drop down. It'll say instructor not listed. I'm at the very bottom. Just type in my name, Shannon Dager, and write it really quickly if you have a second. I would appreciate it. And then I have a podcast too, where we talk about leverage. So if you're interested in growing a team, want to know about career visioning, personality assessments, firing, fierce conversations, please listen to download and write us there too. And I'm going to stick around. So if there's any questions for me, please let me know. Did I go over time? I really tried to speak through that last part. Sorry.
You're good. No, but I'm something else. Yeah. Thank you so much. A couple things. Ty, come on up. Hey, wherever is out, drum roll please, everybody. So today is the last day here at the Orange Gwinnett Market Center. Yay! He has taken a leadership role as the assistant team leader for the Barrow Jackson, which is another one of Jason's offices, obviously. And so we are just so happy for you. We are sad to see you go, even though I haven't been here that long, but you have been part of this family for over 6 years. So I just wanted to let you know that we are sad to see you go. We wish you all the best. We're always here, and if you just want to say anything as you leave today.
Don't let the Lord hit for the good ones split me.
There you go.
Wow, I can't express how much, not only that I love this organization, as Shannon put it, because I've seen and been, outside, because I'm always looking, this is a unicorn. But Jason and Brian Fair and the other group of PPG partners offered us so much opportunity, and they constantly offer training like this, and they constantly push us to rethink our big picture, and that's what happened with me. My big why hadn't changed. I'm still going to be on a piece of property raising goats and bees with a 100-yard firing range of my own outside, living in a camper. However, my professional path changed. And I knew after lots of prayer and talking to my wife and about 2 years of work and things that I had to do to get to where I am now, I want to do kind of like what Shannon does now, a little bit different way, in that I want to help you guys, because so many people poured into me. And, I joke on some of my posts on social media in that I know the recipe for killer Kool-Aid. Well, that's the truth. when you break it down and you look at all the opportunity that is available, it is just, it's still mind blowing for me, and I understand how it works. But it truly is bittersweet. I've spent the last 6.5 years here. This is where I started. I wasn't anywhere else. I ran my own business that wasn't even real estate related before I came here. And it's going to be really hard to leave. I know I'm going to maintain my relationships, that I've built here, but I'm also very excited to, start this new path with Holly Love as my train conductor, as a TL there at Barrow Jackson. I'm just, I'm blessed. Not going to get emotional. I was about to in the chair over there, but nobody was watching. So with that, I love you all. I miss you, but I still, like I said, I'm always there to answer questions. And I know I'm not going to take agents away from Dara. However,
it's on now.
It's on, girl.
That's it. It's on.
But no, it's on. So thank you all very much. I know it's been kind of like all of a sudden, and just due to the way the landscape changes, you have to keep quiet about some things, and it all happened even very quickly for me. Trust me. So love you all, and
thank you so much
Yes,
for your time here. We appreciate you.
I'm not gonna take too much time. Everybody's hungry, wants to eat. We got some food, good food here for you guys today. Just want to tell you a little bit about us. We are Enzyme Building Solutions, mold, water, fire restoration, radon testing and mitigation. We look at all the different aspects of a building and the systems that come together to make that building. So we are a general contractor, and we would love to be part of you guys' team to help you out with any general contracting needs. Anything construction related, you can always reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll be glad to talk to you and answer your questions for you. So I don't want to hold you guys up. You guys have food out there for us to eat. So if you have any questions, I'll be outside if you want to chat with me, all right?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys, again. A couple things. I just want to do this around